In today's inspiring English story, you will follow Oliver, a hard-working janitor who refuses to give up on his dream despite years of struggles, failures, and challenges. This slow and easy English story is perfect for beginners who want to improve English listening, vocabulary, pronunciation, and speaking skills naturally. Listen carefully and discover how determination, education, and hard work can change a life forever. Enjoy The Janitor Who Became a Teacher. The Janitor Who Became a Teacher. Learn English through story, Level 1. In a small town surrounded by mountains, there lived a young man named Oliver. Oliver was 22 years old. Every morning before sunrise, he unlocked the doors of a local high school. He swept hallways, cleaned classrooms, emptied trash bins, and polished floors until they shined. Oliver worked as a janitor. Most students barely noticed him. Teachers greeted him politely, but few knew much about his life. To many people, he was simply the man who cleaned the school. But Oliver carried a secret dream. He wanted to become a teacher. When he was younger, Oliver loved learning. History was his favorite subject. He could spend hours reading about ancient civilizations, famous leaders, and important events. His dream was to attend university and teach students someday. But life had different plans. When Oliver was 18, his father became seriously ill. Medical bills quickly consumed the family's savings. Oliver left school and started working full-time to support his parents. Years passed. His father's health slowly improved, but Oliver's dream seemed farther away than ever. Still, he never completely gave up. Every evening after work, he visited the town library. While other people watched television or relaxed after work, Oliver studied. He read history books, teaching guides, and educational materials. Anything he could find. The librarian often smiled when she saw him. "You study harder than most college students," she once said. Oliver laughed. "Maybe because I still want to become one someday." One Monday morning, something unexpected happened. A history teacher named Mr. Clark suddenly became ill. The school struggled to find a temporary replacement. Several classes were cancelled. Teachers worried. Students celebrated. The principal searched desperately for help. One afternoon, while cleaning the teacher's lounge, Oliver overheard the staff discussing the problem. "We can't find anyone available," one teacher said. "We may need to cancel classes again tomorrow," another replied. Oliver listened quietly. That evening he returned home and opened his old notebooks. For hours he reviewed history lessons he had studied over the years. The next morning he walked into the principal's office. The principal looked surprised. "Oliver, what can I do for you?" Oliver took a deep breath. "I think I can help with the history classes." The principal blinked. "You want to teach?" Oliver nodded nervously. "I know it sounds strange, but please give me one chance." The principal hesitated. Finally he said, "One class. If it goes badly, we stop immediately." Oliver smiled. "Thank you." That afternoon, Oliver stood in front of 30 students. His hands trembled, his heart raced. Several students looked confused. Some whispered, "Why is the janitor teaching?" A few laughed quietly. Oliver heard them, but he stayed calm. He picked up a piece of chalk and wrote a question on the board. "What can history teach us about the future?" The room slowly became quiet. Then Oliver began speaking. He didn't simply teach dates and facts, he told stories. Stories about courage, leadership, mistakes, and determination. The students listened. Soon they became interested. Some started taking notes. Others asked questions. When the bell rang, nobody rushed out immediately. For the first time, many students actually enjoyed history class. The next day, students asked if Oliver would teach again. Teachers noticed. The principal noticed. Weeks passed. Mr. Clark remained absent. Oliver continued teaching. Attendance improved. Students participated more. Grades improved. One afternoon, the principal secretly observed Oliver's class. Afterward, he called him into the office. "You have a gift," he said. Oliver smiled nervously. "Thank you." The principal folded his hands. "Have you ever considered becoming a certified teacher?" Oliver laughed softly. Every day. The principal smiled. Maybe it's time. Those words changed everything. A few months later, Oliver learned about a scholarship program for adults pursuing teaching careers. Several teachers recommended him. The scholarship would cover university tuition. When Oliver received the application form, he could hardly believe it. For years, he thought his opportunity had disappeared forever. Now a door was opening. But competition would be difficult. Hundreds of applicants would apply. Fear returned. What if he failed? What if he wasn't good enough? Then he remembered something he often told students. The biggest mistake is never trying. So he completed the application and submitted it. Weeks later, a letter arrived. Oliver opened it with shaking hands. His eyes widened. He had been accepted. His mother cried with joy. His father hugged him proudly. "We always knew you could do it," his father said. For the first time in years, Oliver felt his future moving forward. University life was not easy. Most students were younger than him. Many had recently graduated from high school. At 22, Oliver sometimes felt out of place. On his first day, he sat quietly near the back of a large lecture hall. A student named Sarah sat beside him. "First day?" she asked. Oliver smiled nervously. "Is it that obvious?" She laughed. Soon they became friends. Sarah wanted to become an elementary school teacher. She encouraged Oliver whenever he doubted himself. University classes were difficult. There were endless assignments, presentations, and exams. Every morning, Oliver worked part-time as a janitor. After work, he attended classes. At night, he studied until midnight. Some days he felt exhausted. One rainy evening, while struggling with a difficult assignment in the library, he nearly gave up. An elderly professor noticed him. "You look troubled," the professor said. "I'm trying to become a teacher," Oliver replied. The professor smiled. "Good teachers are not the smartest people." Oliver looked surprised. "They aren't?" The professor shook his head. "Good teachers are people who never stop learning." Those words stayed with Oliver. He continued working hard, month after month, year after year. Eventually he reached the final stage of teacher training, student teaching, and by coincidence he was assigned to the same high school where he once worked as a janitor. Walking through the school doors again felt strange. Many teachers welcomed him warmly. Students recognized him. "Wait, isn't that Mr. Oliver? The janitor?" News spread quickly. The janitor had returned as a teacher. His first official lesson was terrifying. His palms sweated, his heart raced. But once he began speaking, everything felt natural. Students listened carefully, they participated, they enjoyed learning. One student especially caught Oliver's attention. His name was Jake. Jake struggled in school. He skipped homework. His grades were poor. Most teachers believed he didn't care. But Oliver saw something different. One afternoon, he asked Jake to stay after class. "I think you're smarter than you realize," Oliver said. Jake shook his head. "No, I'm not." Oliver smiled. "I used to think the same thing." Jake looked surprised. "You?" Oliver nodded. Then he shared his story. The failures, the struggles, the years of hard work. Jake listened carefully. For the first time, someone understood him. Over the following months, Jake slowly changed. His grades improved. His confidence grew. One day he handed Oliver a note. Inside was a simple message. "Thank you for not giving up on me." Oliver smiled. Teaching wasn't only about lessons. It was about helping people believe in themselves. Eventually, graduation day arrived. Oliver walked across the stage and received his diploma. His parents cheered proudly. As he held the diploma, memories flooded his mind. Cleaning hallways, studying late at night, feeling discouraged, almost giving up, yet somehow continuing, step by step, day by day, year by year. Shortly after graduation, the school offered him a full-time teaching position. Not as a janitor, not as a substitute, but as an official history teacher. The same hallways he once cleaned now led to his own classroom. On his first day, he arrived early and wrote a message on the board. "Never let your current situation decide your future." Students slowly entered. Many read the message, some smiled. Oliver knew it was true because he had lived it. Years passed. Oliver became one of the most respected teachers in town. Students remembered his lessons long after graduation. Many returned years later to thank him. Some became doctors. Some became engineers. Some became teachers. One afternoon, the principal invited Oliver into his office. He handed him a folder. Inside were letters from former students. One student thanked him for encouraging her during difficult times. Another wrote that his lessons had inspired him to pursue university. Then Oliver found a letter from Jake, the same student who once struggled in school. Jake was now attending university. At the bottom of the letter he had written, "You believed in me before I believed in myself." Tears filled Oliver's eyes. The principal smiled. That is what great teachers do. In that moment, Oliver realized something important. His dream had never been about money, or success, or recognition. His dream had always been about helping people, and now he was doing exactly that. Years later, the school board offered him a leadership position, vice principal. The salary was higher, the responsibility was greater. Many people encouraged him to accept, but Oliver declined. People were surprised. Why? Oliver smiled. Because my place is in the classroom. He loved teaching. He loved helping students grow, and that was where he wanted to stay. One winter morning, a new janitor named Ben started working at the school. Ben was young and quiet. One evening, Oliver found him reading a teaching textbook during a break. "What are you studying?" Oliver asked. Ben looked embarrassed. "I want to become a teacher someday." Oliver smiled immediately. The words sounded familiar, very familiar. He sat beside Ben and shared his own story. The young janitor listened with wide eyes. "You were a janitor too?" Oliver nodded. "In this very school?" Hope appeared on Ben's face. Before leaving, Oliver placed a hand on his shoulder. "Don't let anyone tell you your dream is impossible." Years later, Ben became a teacher too. Whenever people asked what inspired him, he always mentioned Oliver, the janitor who became a teacher, the teacher who changed lives, the teacher who never forgot where he started. One spring afternoon, many years later, Oliver stood alone inside his classroom after school. Sunlight streamed through the windows. Outside, students laughed as they walked home. Oliver looked around slowly. The desks, the books, the walls covered with student projects. Everything felt meaningful. He remembered the young janitor who once swept empty hallways before sunrise, the young man who studied late at night, the dreamer who refused to quit, and he smiled, because every difficult day had been worth it. Before leaving, he glanced at a small sign hanging above his desk. It read, "Never let your current situation decide your future." Oliver turned off the classroom lights and stepped into the hallway, the same hallway he once cleaned, the same hallway that witnessed his journey, the same hallway that proved something important. Success does not belong to the people who start with the most advantages. Success belongs to the people who keep moving forward. And Oliver never stopped moving forward. The end.